pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Around the corner, I guess.
We have the select board from both towns. We have someone here who has not been in this auditorium before. The restrooms would be out and take a left, walk straight, and you will find both the ladies and gentlemen. Are you able to hear me?
There you go. Welcome. We called the meeting to order. We just pledged allegiance to the flag, as you could surmise. I welcome you all here to this meeting of the Narragansett Regional School Committee with the joint selectmen from both Templeton and Phillipston. Welcome. I just made an announcement that if you haven't been in this auditorium before, that their men's and ladies' rooms are, if you walk out of the exit either way and take a left and walk straight, you will be able to see them on your right. So our business today is to choose a date and a moderator for the joint town meeting that the school committee will hold. So I guess I can sit down. If at any time you cannot hear, please raise your hand and we will adjust that. Welcome to all the select boards and to my fellow school committee members. We're here to pick a moderator for this joint town meeting. What I would like to do, is just ask each and every person a suggestion for the moderator. And when we have the suggestions down, we'll look at who has the most, who's been suggested the most, and proceed from there. Does that procedure work for everyone? Okay, so we're going to alternate, and we're going to start with the Phillipston selectman, John, and ask him if he has a suggestion for the moderator for this joint town meeting.
Well, actually, it might be late in the process, but I was thinking it would be better to have someone that wasn't from either Templeton or Phillipston to be the moderator.
Okay. So do you have a suggestion?
There are a few names that I have, but I have not contacted those people, so that's why I said it's a little late in the process.
Thank you, John. Mrs. Farrell.
Rob Hubbard.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't have your name tag. David, yes. Thank you, David.
I think Mrs. Farrell said Hubbard, Mr. Hubbard. I think that's a good choice. Rather than use either the current moderator in either town, another person would be somewhat, at least appear impartial, and I think that's a good way to go.
Thank you, Mr. Bramhall. Mr. Morrison.
Yes, I would also recommend Ron Hubbard. I think he would be a good choice, very impartial to the process here.
Thank you. And Mr. Boulay.
Mr. Hubbard sounds pretty good, but I would like to know what's wrong with David. He's your town moderator, right?
We are taking suggestions. There isn't a right or wrong moderator choice. So we are making suggestions. If that's your suggestion, that's what we will put down for your
Well, I'm
suggestion.
going to leave it up to the select board of Templeton then.
Oh,
However
thank you
they
very
feel.
much, Mr. Brule. Mr. Bennett.
I would join the fray in trying to draft Rob Hubbard. I think that would be a good independent, and he's an experienced moderator of meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Robinson, thank you.
I would also say Mr. Hubbard, given his experience that he's had and his impartiality in this particular process.
Thank you. As I read the quest for tonight, as written in the law, it appeared that the select boards from both towns would have the moderator choice. Is there any input from the school committee? They actually have the suggestions, and the majority, the only suggestion that was made was Mr. Hubbard. Do we have Mrs. Metzen?
I put his name down before they even started, so that would be my choice.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you. I know that Mr. Hubbard is in the audience. May I ask Mr. Hubbard if he would take the challenge, the job of being the town moderator for the joint school committee meeting, both towns? Yes. Thank you very much. We have an affirmative. Mr. Moderator, Mr. Hubbard comes with great experience in this particular role, as do our current moderators, but this is the choice. So we have our moderator. The next quest for tonight is the date of the meeting. So I'm taking suggestions for the date. It cannot be before 14 days. The law does say that it's 14 days from today. So it cannot be before that. Mrs. Farrow.
My question revolves around not necessarily the date, but the process and the procedure. We now have a town moderator. Do we know are we using town meeting times for this meeting? What is the process and the protocol for this joint special town meeting? I think that needs to be discussed so that we're all on the same page before we discuss a date.
Well, we can look at that. The date, it would be the date as it is. The process and protocol can come before or after. Do we have any preference to moving?
The process and the protocol is
Mr.
sole discretion of the school committee.
It is. This is a school committee meeting. So we will.
Mr. Bramhall.
Yes, Mr. Bramhall.
I would think that summer vacation should be over, so I'm thinking after Labor Day would be a better time, so that everybody who's going to be around will be around.
Thank you. That's a suggestion. Do we have other suggestions for dates? Mr. Robinson.
Not a particular date, but I would also agree that early fall, even though it may seem like we're prolonging the process, that would maybe give both towns time to come to some kind of agreement and maybe hold open meetings of our own to kind of see what the public is interested in as we move forward with some kind of negotiated solution or seeing what we can have happen here. Maybe a little cooling off period as well. Plus you get the added benefit of having everyone pretty much back from their summer vacations.
Can I speak to that, please?
Yes, Mrs. Miller.
Thank you, Mike.
I appreciate the thought about after September Labor Day. My concern is that right now we don't have a high school schedule, we don't have a middle school schedule, we have no elementary school schedules, we don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out, we have no idea if sports are in or sports are out. I mean, we would have to make decisions on cuts without really understanding what our final budget would be, so it will be very problematic for our families to come to school and not know, or we make cuts that maybe we don't need to given the joint town meeting. So my only concern is that waiting till after the beginning of school, it's going to be problematic enough getting close, within 14 days, that'll be close. But going after Labor Day, I think would be very problematic for the parents and for the teachers.
Thank you. Yes, Mrs. Farrell.
I understand your concerns about scheduling and figuring out which cuts would need to be made if you waited till after Labor Day to have this. I also believe that it's important that both towns who are going to attend the town meeting understand the process. There's no guarantee if we set this 14 days from now that a budget will be approved at the end of that special town meeting. And then it would be a 2/3 vote of the school committee to hold yet another special town meeting, which would be after Labor Day, just timing-wise. So I understand the concerns about creating a schedule and the uncertainty that people are in, all the parents, all the kids, and making a schedule is very difficult. But I think you're going to have to make some modifications as you go along regardless, because we don't know what the outcome of this joint special town meeting will be.
Mrs. Farrell, so your suggestion then is to look toward the beginning of September, is that correct? Yes. Do you also have beginning of September? Do we have a date, Mrs. Miller, that you would recommend? We're taking suggestions.
My recommendation would be August 22nd, which is just before school starts. But and activities start for kids. So if, in fact, it is the will of the joint committee to move forward with our budget, then those activities could go undisrupted for the kids. And I get what Mrs. Farrell said, but at least we'd have one shot at having a better understanding of what we may or may not have to cut if we looked at a late August date.
Okay, so we have 4 suggestions today. We have after Labor Day, which would mean sometime after September 4th. Would you be looking toward that next week or that week of Labor Day? We had a suggestion of early fall. What date could you give us for early fall? Would you also be looking at the first week in September or later than that?
First week in September.
Okay. And we have August 22nd. May I have other suggestions for a date of this meeting? Mr. Toohey. Yeah, oh, you may.
I'm one of the quietest talkers here. I need a microphone. I'd like to second the idea or the notion of the August 22nd, just for the purpose of, for the families that go on school vacations, they're all going to be returning by that time because school's going to be starting very soon afterwards, so we're not going to have to really worry about absences. I mean, if we have it around Labor Day, people go on vacation around Labor Day. I mean, if we have it around Labor Day, they go on vacation around there too. I mean, it's kind of tricky no matter how we look at it. I just think if we're prolonging it, there is the issues of not being able to set up things correctly. That's my opinion, though.
We're proceeding with the calendar. So you've seconded, Mr. Toohey, the August 22nd. I have 3 dates, two of them around that first week. We're looking for a date in that first week after Labor Day. Thank you.
I would make a motion for September 5th. It's a Thursday.
Okay, we're taking suggestions, Mrs. Farrell, at this time, so we will put down the date of September 5th.
Well, I thought you said Mr. Toohey seconded the motion.
Well, I heard that, but it wasn't a motion, so,
Okay. All right.
so
Well,
it's
that's
not
why I
really
did
a
it in the
second,
form
but
of a
thank you.
motion.
We are looking for dates. The first week in September, September 5th is a Thursday. Mr. Bramholm, you mentioned first week in September. We have September 5th is a Thursday. Friday is the 6th. The 4th is a Wednesday. So what would you look at? Would a Thursday, September 5th, that is in the first week of September, fit with your suggestion? Or the 4th, which is a Wednesday. Okay, so you have a preference? Phillipston's activities on Wednesday night are clear, or Thursday night? They would be made clear, then you don't have meetings scheduled. Thank you. Okay, so we have September 4th or 5th, August 22nd. Further input on dates? Okay. Let's look. Mr. Bennett?
Concerning the budget and, you know, who to bring back and what's going to be in place or not, it's my understanding that there is a set budget in place, the 1/12 budget, Am I correct in understanding that? So there is, at least I think, is it till December 1st, a budget to work with until then? Am I correct in my understanding?
Well, there are always budgets. What we're doing right now, Mr. Bennett, is looking for a date. Is your question about the 22nd having any advantage other than what could come back?
Well, my thought is if the budget concern is the premise for having an August 22nd meeting versus a September 4th or 5th meeting, I would tend to go with the later date for a cooling off period, also for, it's important for all three towns, all boards, committees, to get information, a good, correct information out to the voters as much time before the meeting and as often so people can, look at it, digest it, ask questions, either, amongst themselves or to any of the boards, the district or the towns. And so I raised the, if there's a 1/12 budget in place, there is a budget number. So using a lack of a budget for a reason to have it sooner rather than a week later, I just question that. So I would be for the later dates of September 4th or the 5th. Either day would work.
So what we're going to do now, that we have no further input, is we're going to look at the August 22nd date. I'm going to ask people on these tables to say yay yes if you're in favor of August 22nd. Oh, do you think we need a motion? Okay. So may I have a motion for the August 22nd date?
I move that we have the joint town meeting on August 22nd.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of August 22nd, would you signify by saying aye, please? Okay, do we need a hand count?
Yes.
No?
Yeah, I would like
I
a
think
hand count.
that'd be good.
A roll, do a roll.
The vote for this is the school committee is the one voting on the date. According to the law, the vote for the date goes to the select board for the moderator, and the school committee are the voting members for the date.
Could we still have a roll vote, please?
You can, we have a request for a roll vote. We
Yes.
certainly may. Let's see, Mrs. Mattson.
Yes.
Mr. Mason. Mr. Tui. Mrs. Kojal. Mr. Columbus.
Aye.
Mr. Sandin.
Yes.
Mrs. Chadier, I'm a little nervous. And so we have ayes. The chair votes no. The ayes have it. The meeting date is August 22nd. We have a moderator, we have a date. Mr. Hubbard, is August 22nd a date that you can make? Yes, he can. So thank you. So we have a date. The next question came up on rules, on process, and what rules we would use. Mr. Bramholt. Hall.
That was my question, yeah.
Okay. The school committee uses Robert's rules. So it is a school committee meeting. Robert's Rules of Order is what we're used to using. Do we have suggestions other than that? Oh.
That's the good person to ask what has to run the meeting. Just for a suggestion.
All right, Mr. Hubbard, do you have a preference on how you would like to run this meeting?
My experience has been with town meeting times and in an open meeting with a large group of people as opposed to a small committee. I would say town meetings times is preferable with Robert's rules. So my suggestion would be we use town meeting times.
Do we have a motion from the committee for that?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor of using town meeting times? Aye. Your question, I'm sorry, Mr.
You said that this, what we're scheduling is a school committee meeting? I thought it was a joint.
No, no, no. She said that at school committee meetings, we use Roberts, is what she said.
Robert's rules. So the motion has been seconded for town meeting times. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Mrs. Farrell, did you have further question? On the process?
Yes, I do. When the warrant is posted, is it going to be in the form of a motion or a warrant article?
Warrant article. Yeah, I understood it would be a warrant article. Is there discussion from the school committee on that? We are presenting a warrant article.
When a meeting is posted.
Mr. Columbus?
When a meeting is posted, you post a warrant article. When have you ever seen a warrant with a motion on it, Julie?
Well, I know that there was some, secondhand, that there was some confusion.
Secondhand? What's secondhand?
I'm sorry, what?
Excuse me?
What's secondhand?
Through the chair, please? Do you want to know what hand is?
No,
Mrs. Triplo?
No, I don't. We're posting an article.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Mr. Robinson?
I think what Mrs. Farrell is referring to is that we've had some continuing issues in Templeton with public, I don't want to say outcry, public confusion about why when warrant articles are posted, if we have sufficient information to make them as clear as possible why the motions are so different from the warrant articles. So I think what she may be alluding to was, well, maybe I don't want to speak for her. I personally, because we will not be posting the warrant article, I would just ask that whatever motion the moving body would ultimately make, if we could try to make it as close to the warrant article as possible so that we don't distract the whole town, or at least Templeton, with changes in language to it. Even though I understand and comprehend that they do not have to be the same, I think in the interest of focusing attention where it should be, which is on the school budget, and not on this differentiation between warrant articles and motions, I think that would be my suggestion. Obviously, it's not a member of the committee, but.
Thank you. Mr. Bram?
I'm a little confused. I think tonight, this is your meeting, and we're kind of here as, for our input to your meeting. You're going to schedule this town meeting, right?
That is correct.
And you will decide how the warrants are posted and all of that. Once we come through the door, it will be a town meeting, not a school committee meeting. Is that correct? Okay. Are you going to pay for the posting and all of that stuff, all the legalities that are required?
Yes.
Okay.
So we are posting a warrant article, and I thank you for the motion issue. All right, we have accomplished our agenda. The substance of this town meeting is the statutory assessments of both towns. That is all that can be discussed at this town meeting. So, Mrs. Miller, you have comments on that?
I do have a few comments that I'd like to make. I'm going to read something that I've written. We're here tonight because one of our two district towns has not approved the school district's FY14 budget. I would like to clear up some misinformation that has been circulating around the towns. It is essential that all officials from both towns understand the school district's budget so that we are all sharing accurate information. It is important that every individual that attends the joint town meeting has the facts so they can make an informed decision. If after I review the budget and the components that make up this budget, if any advisory board member, because they all had packets tonight, finance committee members, or select board members still have questions, I encourage them to come see me so that we may discuss the issue. We can no longer have different answers to the same questions. It's very problematic for our town people. The increase in the proposed budget is $359,354, over FY13's budget. For the past 4 years, the towns have given us the exact same dollar amount while increasing their levy limits by 2.5%. The district has transferred over $400,000 a year for the past 3 years from reserves to provide support for the children, while at the same time making major cuts, including eliminating teaching positions. We have no more funds to transfer to offset the budget. We have not increased administrative line items. In fact, we have reduced those line items every year for the past 3 years. The central office has not grown. It has actually gone from $210,382 in FY13 to a proposed $193,200 in FY14. We have cut teachers, books, equipment, supplies, hours for UFCW workers, and looked at every possible way to cut our budget. We are asking for this budget so that the children of Phillipston and Templeton can have the education necessary for them to thrive. We have certified a budget of $18,523,946. That's the certified budget that will be presented at the joint town meeting. I please encourage anyone, especially Finance and Advisory Board members, that have conflicting viewpoints about this and other information to please come see me so that we can get a shared understanding of how the numbers are calculated. I can't encourage you enough. I'm available. You can call my office. They'll give you my cell phone anytime anyone would like to come. So I just wanted to make that clear. I really would like to have a very informed body when we come to joint town meeting. Thank you.
Okay, we have accomplished our 2 objectives for tonight. We have Mr. Hubbard as the moderator for the joint town meeting, and I would like to thank him right now. We have August 22nd as the date. We do not have a place yet for this meeting. So we need to have suggestions for where this meeting would be held. This meeting would be held in a place that will accommodate both residents of Templeton and Phillipston. Suggestions? Mr. Robinson.
Does the gym have a larger capacity? The only reason I say is because on Friday we were pretty much full in here, and that was just Templeton. So I don't know, depending on how many Phillipston residents come, we might not be able to fit everyone in this space.
So are you speaking of the high school gym?
So, whatever the largest gym is.
Yes, that would be the largest gym. So one suggestion is the high school gym.
We do that. What we've done in the past,
Mr.
when
Mason.
we had overflow in the auditorium, we've gone out into the CAF or into the middle school gym.
So we've had suggestions of overflow spaces where we would have to use technology, TVs posted, monitors, and people are not in the same place where the speaker is. All people are not. But that has been done before. Any other suggestions? Phillipston have suggestions for a place that would hold? You do. This is your place. This is yours in the town itself, but you do have this school. So on a day like this, it might work.
August 22nd, we probably could.
I do need a motion for one of these 2 suggestions, unless we have more suggestions coming.
Middle school auditorium for town meeting, please.
Middle school auditorium with the overflow in the gym, the middle school gym.
Or cafeteria, depending on the amount of overflow.
Do I have a second? Hearing no second. Do I have another motion?
I make a motion that we put it in the high school gymnasium.
Second.
I have a second on the high school gymnasium. Any discussion? Mr. Hubbard, please.
Does the technology transfer from that we have here to go for an overflow in other rooms? Does that transfer to the gymnasium? Or what's the capacity of the gymnasium?
Okay, Mrs. Miller, the capacity of the gymnasium. We have graduation, that is huge.
Yeah, we've held graduation when it rains in there, and awards nights. You have all the bleachers, and you have seating that you can fill the center with chairs. In those two events, we have plenty of space. I don't know the actual capacity. Should we make the determination on capacity and ability? So if the gym has as much capacity as the CAF and this auditorium, then maybe we might choose the gym, but if the capacity is larger you're suggesting that we would keep it here. Okay, why don't we we don't necessarily need to vote, we just need to pick a spot with a larger capacity out of those two potentially.
Okay, but we had a second on the high school. Do we have an amendment maybe to that motion so that it could give you the flexibility?
Yes, you certainly can change it if it's not going to afford the opportunity for everybody to come in. And if we can't use technology, I'd just as soon have it here in the middle school gym.
Okay, discussion, yes.
The last time I checked, when Dave Bergeron took over as moderator, he wanted an overflow in the cafeteria. And I'm the cable committee in the town. I said, check with the school, and I believe Mike Wakefield said they could get video but not audio there. I know it's been done before, but I think that was with his personal equipment. And that was years ago when we had the landfill trash issue, and people were in the gym across the hall. Yeah. So I don't know what the school's capacity to do with overflow is.
I think Mr. Wakefield did correct that.
Can you get video?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can.
When I was coming in, somebody was doing a test and
Debbie, just make a motion that it's here in the best place that it can be.
Okay.
Or just withdraw it. We'll just, Mrs. Kojal?
I'm going to withdraw my original motion, and I'd like to make another motion that we have the town meeting in the best place possible after investigating technology
Within this
support
complex.
within the complex.
Do we have a second? All those in favor? Aye. So we have the who, the what, and the why. We have accomplished our mission. We have a suggestion for time as 7 o'clock. Is that your town meeting time as well, 7 o'clock? It's Templeton's?
On time.
On time, okay. So the time would then be 7 o'clock that we have. Okay. Do we have further comments from the committee?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We will adjourn, yes. Thank you. Yeah.